Hey everyone, welcome to the Self-Care Rockstar Show. My name is Sally Green, and today I'm excited to introduce Vivian De Guzman, who is here, and she is a money magnet activator. We're excited to have her here, and I just want to offer a couple little things that I have going on. I have a 30-day challenge, self-care challenge that's coming up in July. If anyone is interested, you can go to the selfcarerockstar.com and sign up. And let's see what else. Then I'll be doing some one-on-one and personal coaching. And I also have another book that's coming out at the end of July. And so at the end of this, if you're interested, at the end, after everything's done, I'll show a little video advertisement for the new book that I'm in. And we'll be able to discuss that. So welcome, Vivian. We're glad you're here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started on all this, and share it today. We'd love to hear from you.
Oh, thank you, Sally, for inviting me, and thanks everyone for being here today. So I was a physical therapist by trade a long time ago, since 1991. And when I came from the Philippines to America, so it was like a promised land, right? Like get to work with people and heal a lot of their physical ailments right at that time. And then I had this life-changing experience because I had a TIA, or a warning sign for a stroke. Back in 2007, when I had my fourth kid in 2006, and I said, oh, I think God wants me to do something else, right? You know how you have some emergencies that show up in your life. So mine happened to be, whoa, it was like, oh, I got to stop what I'm doing and do something else. So I could see the body and the energy of people and, other ghosts and spirits, even when I was young, like 7, 8 years old. But I was scared of that, right? So, because I don't know what to do with it. And so I suppressed that ability or that gift. And I guess when God knocks on the door and say, hey, you got to do something else, I go, no, I can't do all that. It's like impossible, right? Like, or it's a bit scary. So once you're being called, right, to do your job, there would something that would happen, and it usually is a form of an emergency, or you're just not happy, right? Like you're feeling like, what is this? I've done everything I could in life. I raised my kids. Well, I was still raising. That was my fourth kid, right? That was born. And then I said, what, you want me to do something else? And that was my beginning awakening, right? And then after that, because there's 4 stages, according to Sonia Choquette, when we're really going through our spiritual journey, there was the awakening and then the discovery phase. And I think a lot of your viewers are in the discovery phase because they're trying to figure out what is it that they need to do next? Because if all you did was be a mom, right? Or raise your children, have a family, like, well, or whatever job that was for you, even in different systems, you don't know what's next. So what I wanted to do is offer people an insight on human design so that they can actually have some kind of a template. Like, what do I do? Because some of us, we get these divine downloads, we call it. After awakening, then we're discovering, right? But some people get lost in the discovery phase because the next phase is surrender. Like you say, okay, God, you're in control. I give up. Go ahead. Show me what to do next, before we actually go with the flow. We're humans, right? So our minds are like, no, that's not it. We try to contradict everything that's given to us, even if, like, God gave us a little tap on the shoulder and then a little bit, okay, I was like, hey, come on, do something, right? And sometimes it's like a 2x4, or you got run over by a Mack truck. I call it. So that was my awakening. And so I tell people to pay more attention, be more aware, for us, a lot of it is the COVID and the emergencies and everything else that happened, right? And so we had to rethink and reorganize and reassess our lives and say, all right, this is not working. What can I do now to make it better? So that was that. So eventually I became what they call human MRI, because I can see the body in 5D, like an MRI, right? Or an X-ray vision would give you an assessment of what's going on. And I realized that diseases and sicknesses and illnesses are just our way to pause and take a look at what we are really doing. Because if it's not aligned with our soul purpose and our path, we're going to encounter them anyway. It's just the ups and downs of life, right? But when you're in your own path and purpose, it's interesting because that changes everything. You know how miracles happen, right? They do, because they do. Yeah. So, yeah. And then eventually, as I became that medical intuitive, then I'm being called. By the way, your path and purpose is not static, it keeps on changing. And then now I'm noticing that, like money, they call me money magnet activator for a reason. Money is in all of our energetic boundaries, physical, emotional, relationship, and spiritual. So if we have triggers about that word, well, you can't really have it, right? Because you're stopping yourself from receiving it, if that makes sense. So I wish I could share. I know we have only a few minutes together, but as much as I could, help the audience with their question, I think that would help them a lot. Like kind of just give them a little step by step, right? Because sometimes the road or the path is too long, and then they're like, what do I do now? Right? Like this, some people like hand holding, and then they go one step, then the next, and then the next. And some people want, I've been stuck here in this moment. Can you just like jump me from the first floor to the 10th floor? Like something like that. Right. So yeah, Sally, I think you're muted.
Yep. Yeah. So, what would you like to do? You want people to ask you questions, or how do you want to?
Well, I want to know a little bit of where they are first. So let's start with where the audience is as far as their life is. So then we can even take a look, right? Are they in the awakening, discovery, surrender, or flow? Most people are not in the flow. That's why they're asking for help, right? Mm-hmm. So shall we ask the audience, or do you want me to present a little bit of human design first?
I don't know. You guys up for a little bit? Do anybody? Let's see.
Oh, you have to unmute,
yep,
so then I can hear you. Oh, I can't hear. Okay, Romy, go ahead.
Hi. I'm happy to share some background with you if sure. That would help. I think I'm at the discovery, what am I going to do now stage.
Okay, perfect.
Just to give you a little background, I'm 2 weeks out of a major back surgery.
Okay.
And that surgery really is 20 years overdue.
Oh, okay.
And I've stopped and started a lot of things that didn't work out.
Oh, okay.
The last thing, right now I'm a certified holistic health coach. And I decided I was going to teach chair yoga, which was fantastic. I had 4 classes going. I was making some money. I was really feeling pretty independent, like this was going to go somewhere.
Right.
And injured myself even more.
Oh, okay.
And so obviously the Lord, I take those signs from God, and darn it, I guess that wasn't the direction I was supposed to go in.
No, that's okay.
So right now I'm not particularly ambulatory right now, doing as much walking as I can, but I'll tell you that I'm moving better than I have in 20 years.
Oh, excellent.
And we're only 2 weeks out. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
But where do I go from here? I don't have money to invest in business. And just really, I'm kind of at that stop and listen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you are in the discovery phase, definitely. And a little bit on the surrender as well, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is a good topic for you. So you'll learn a little bit more as I discuss. I have Sally's chart, so maybe you guys can listen a little bit on what I'm going to share, and then you can relate to where you are, right? So we've identified the journeys, right? Awakening, discovery, surrender, and flow. And by the way, it's funny. It's not like it's only like 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time. Everybody, because we all move differently, right? At different speeds and different phases. There's no judgment on that, right? It just identify yourself where you're at this moment. So Sally, are you okay that I share your human design with them? Okay. So I made her go to, and you guys can try this. You can go to humandesignamerica.com or Jovian Archive, and you can actually look at your human design. It's a free chart, basically, that you'll get, and it would look like this. Okay? You see? It looks like that. So it looks like a chart, and you're like, what is that? So human design is basically a download to Ra Uruhu. He already passed away. However, he was given all these things about astrology, I Ching, the chakra system. Believe it or not, since 1781, written all over the books, right? We shouldn't have worried about money ever again. So when our mind is worried, our head, right? All the information coming through, you're going to always have a problem, right? You're always going to worry about something, as if that's our job here on this planet. Not really. Okay. So if you look at this chart, you're like, what is that, right? You heard of the chakra system, right? The crown. So this is like the top is the crown, basically. And then as you keep on going down, then you have the root at the bottom, right? Spleen on the left. The right is like the emotional area, and then this is the sacral area, like the heart, the ego, the throat, right? So everything has a designation. So just understand that the right side of your chart is conscious, like people see you like that. So if you go to humandesign.tools, you're gonna know a little bit more about what are these numbers. So these gates on the left, like 26.6, for example, for her is her personality sun, okay? What I'm going to discuss is what she needs to do to make money. Are you good with that, Sally? You're like, well, how can I make money with this thing, right? Because that's the topic. So personality is conscious. This is how people perceive you, and all of us are different. I know we try to be homogenous, but all of us have different personalities, right? Different characteristics. It's not right or wrong. It's just based on you, like based the way God designed us. You're meant to do something in this planet, right? And on the left side is the design. You see the red. It's unconscious. That's up to you to discover what you are, right? And you can see the different signs, and you're thinking, what are those? Like sun, earth, moon, south node, north node, like different things like that. Mars, Jupiter, okay, different planets, right? Remember, astrology. So I don't want to confuse anyone right now, but I want you to just take a look at this, because once you get at least this part, you're going to know exactly how you need to live as a person. So Sally is a generator. And her signature is satisfaction. In other words, if she is not satisfied with her life or with whatever she's doing, it is not going to bring her anything. It'll probably give her a lot of headaches and problems, right? And I'm a generator as well. So generators, we have a lot of energy. And you notice somebody wants you to do their laundry. Somebody wants you to do their podcast. Somebody wants you to interview them. Somebody wants, like they all have a task for you. A generator is someone that has a lot of motor, like a lot of energy. Motor means, you see how she has so many colors in her chart, the brown, the red, the brown, the yellow, the red. That means she has the energy or the capacity to do a lot of things. But unfortunately, if she is not satisfied with that job, with that person, that relationship, or whatever it is she's doing, it could be gardening, right? If she's not really satisfied and it's not giving her any kind of joy or happiness, she should just stop that, because it is not for her. Okay. Now, her strategy is to respond. Okay. So, Sally, you need to wait to respond. When someone asks you a question, so let me ask you a question. Do you like ice cream? And you can just tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. Do you like vegetables?
Yes.
So do you like hiking?
No.
Okay. You see how her energy drop, right? So there are certain things you really love, but you know how sometimes, let's say your most favorite person, like your best friend, asks you if you want to go hiking. So let's say your best friend asked you this morning, it's like, would you like to go hiking with me, Sally? And she looks very excited, right? What would you normally respond to her if she's that excited, even if you don't like hiking?
Oh, I would say yes.
All right. So you see how women are, right? We kind of like, yeah, because she's my best friend, I'm going to compromise a little bit. Okay. Sally is emotional authority. Normally, an emotional authority, meaning, you know how the waves of the ocean, it goes up and down. And, us women, we have emotions, right? And there are days when we wake up and we don't quite feel like us at that moment, right? It's like, I'm really tired. I really don't want to do this. Why am I doing this right now? But you say yes anyway. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You say yes.
Yes.
That means we compromise or tolerate that. And we just say yes for the purpose of saying yes because we want to preserve a relationship or something. What happens with that is that removes or subtracts that energy from you every single time you say yes to something that you're not 100% certain at that moment. So the best thing for emotional authority, because we're really 2 steps. The first time you're asked, and if you're not quite sure, you say, can I get back with you on that? That's really the appropriate answer if you're emotional authority. Now, if you did your chart and it says sacral authority, you know how some kids, when you ask them, did you clean your room? Mm-mm. They don't say anything. They just give you a sound, right? Or, mm-hmm. Just like that, right? So yes is mm-hmm or mm-mm. When a person or a child even, or an adult, doesn't really like to talk, but gives you a sound, a lot of times that's the proper response of a person with sacral authority. Because from the depths of your pelvis, right, your sacrum, that triangular bone between your buttocks, you really want to acknowledge yourself and recognize if it's a true yes, like 100%, like you really want to do it. You want to be with that person, for example, or you want to do that activity or business versus, oh God, because I need to make money, so I just have to do this. Do you see the difference in the energy? The energy of a yes is like, yes, like I want to do that, right? And no is like, so I've recognized even for myself, because I'm also emotional authority, Sally, I kind of have to wait to respond. When I'm not 100% yes, the answer is not at this time. So it looks like a no, right? To you, but then but that's saying yes to me. Because when I say yes to me, I live my design better. Because the right opportunity will come, and then you're really 100% ready for that, right? It's not like a half-ass energy or 50% of your energy giving it to that versus, think of a project with 100% energy. Totally different, right? I can move a car with that, with intention, right? Does that make sense? Because it's 100%. I'm present. I'm there. It's not like my mind is there, my soul is somewhere else, or I'm kind of half asleep somewhere else. So that's the inner authority. When people learn how to decide from that moment, right? it changes everything. So let me go back to type. There are different types. Manifester are the bossy ones. They used to be kings of the land, right? A generator, we have a lot of energy. But then, even if we're bored or we don't like it, once we start a project, we really keep on doing. Now, a manifesting generator, they get bored easily, but they also have a lot of energy, just like us. They're kind of in between the manifester and the generator, right? Manifesting generator versus, let's say, a generator. So let's say one of you is an MG and I'm a generator, right? So if I say, hey, let's go for a walk, and we both agreed we're going to walk. But then the generator, when she opens the door, let's say we're both sitting in a couch and then we open the door, walk to the door, open the door. Oh, it's raining. So me as a generator, I'm just going to like improvise, find an umbrella or a raincoat, and I'm still going to go because I've already made the decision to walk. A manifesting generator is like, oh, it's raining. I don't feel like getting wet. So that person may actually go back to the couch and just sit there and just change their mind in an instant. So they get bored so easily with an activity. So I hope you're understanding this concept, because you have family members that are different than you. And then sometimes you'll get irritated at them. You shouldn't, because that's just their design. They're meant to change their mind anytime. And they're like, oh, I don't want that project anymore. I'm just going to do something else. So that's a manifesting generator. Now, if you're a projector, you're like this inner wise, this inner sage. They are not meant to work like us. So we're the workforce of society. A projector usually works for 2 to 4 hours, supposedly. But in our society, because we're programmed to be like everybody else, we try to be like everybody else. So these projectors, if they're not asked, they shouldn't be responding. They have to wait for the invitation. So if they're really living their design, once you ask a projector, they usually are very wise people, but they cannot really run with a generator and a manifesting generator. They just have to be a coach or a mentor, or like they would just give you the advice and then they need to just play the rest of the time. They shouldn't be working like crazy because they waste their energy that way. Again, going into the shadow of, oh, but I deserve this, or maybe they won't like me. Those are not really living your true design, right? And then the last type is a reflector. They're like a cushion in a world of pins, because if you look at the top, they really don't have any colors at all. A reflector usually is all white. So the white areas, unfortunately, those areas in our bodies are meant to be conditioned in a way, because if somebody has a color, they can project like a lighthouse. They can project that light on you and they can influence you with certain things, right? Again, not good or bad, but a reflector is really meant to, it's almost like sense or gauge the temperature of the room. So they're good with like events, because you know how they feel everything, the empathics, right? Now, not all empathics are reflectors. There's only 1% of the population that are reflectors. So they feel like a cushion in a world of pins. It's kind of sad, right? So if somebody is projecting their disease on them, unfortunately, they get it. They own it. They own that sickness, right? So the inner authorities, there's different types. We happen to be emotional, right? 2-step, right? And then sacral is the other one. I usually would muscle test, so to really see what's best for me at that moment in time. And then your incarnation cross, left angle cross of confrontation, is actually your soul purpose, literally. So if I read it, right, you're going to probably go, is that me? Okay. If you correctly put the date of birth and the time of birth, you're probably going to get this correctly, right? And your profile is like the flavor that you're meant to be doing, so to speak, the flavor of the gates, the flavor of your purpose, so to speak. All right, so let me see where the left angle cross of confrontation is. So again, go to humandesign.tools. And let me get to that so I can share with you I pulled it up already for you. So your left angle cross of confrontation. Tell me if you resonate with this, Sally.
Okay.
Sole purpose. You have the energy to confront rulership and impose rulership of your own. Your energy is designed to have a bit of a hard edge because you are here to take on people of power who ought to be questioned. Additionally, your energy is designed to be provocative because from provocation comes justification. With the justification comes information to get a deeper understanding of what people are about and what they stand for. Your energetic demeanor is confrontational and has the purpose of helping us get to the bottom of things. Is that you? Does it sound like you, or are you not living that purpose yet? That's also possible.
I don't know. I think it might. I mean, I don't see myself that way, but maybe others do.
Anyone can.
I don't know.
I think Barbette Joy is saying something. Go ahead.
It's confrontational. I mean, I've been in several meetings with Sally, and she doesn't come across as confrontational.
Well, hold on. Let me look at confront. I think we have a representation of that word. Confrontation. I was scared of that word before, you guys, because it's almost like combative or something, right?
Yeah, right.
But then confrontation just means to hold your position in space. So for example, if somebody is questioning you, are you with whatever knowledge that is, right? So let's say somebody's questioning you about certain things that you're really good at, right? Mm-hmm. Are you going to hold your position, or are you going to like, oh yeah, maybe, I'm just gonna bend this way, bend over sideways forward just to kind of please this other person? Or are you just gonna hold your space and go, well, this is what I sense would be the best fit for this, or the best approach for this?
Now that feels like Sally.
Yeah, see, that's
like
confrontation
that.
Is that. Because I think we get scared of confrontation. We're like, oh my God, she's going to tell me I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. No, it's just whatever principles and values you uphold, you're actually going to stick to it, even if it's your loved one saying, well, that's not right for me, right? But then, well, that's not right for her, but then it's right for you at that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what I do, though, I think I'm able to sense a lot of people where they are, mm-hmm. and connect with them at the level that they are.
Right.
So if someone, if someone is in a dark place, I'm able to talk to them and get them out of it. If someone is excited, I'm able to get excited with them and bring them even closer.
Right.
It's almost like she walks you out of it.
Okay, good. Yeah. Awesome.
But
awesome.
I think, that's kind of my superpower, is dealing with people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I enjoy doing.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. And like I said, this is a new technology for all of you. So you're probably like, what is that all about? Okay. So that's okay. And by the way, I don't intend for you to get it all within this interview, right?
Right.
Because some people actually take 3 years of deconditioning, because remember, we all went through, well, our parents raised us, right? Or whoever raised us. The first few years of our lives is pure conditioning. Like we were born pure, right. And then suddenly whatever family, parents, tradition, culture, religion we have, that's what we got, right?
Right.
Based on our parents and again, our ancestors, until you realize, oh, how come I feel like an oddball in my family? It's because you're not living your true path and purpose.
Yeah.
Is this making sense?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
I'm the total oddball in my family.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to share something with you. This specific table based on your design. Okay. So when I looked at Sally's design, remember? Mm-hmm. She's a generator, emotional authority, right? So they're on the gates, right? So if you look at the extreme right side, it says prosperity key or pearl. When I looked at her human design, she was a 37.1. That's her personality Jupiter. You know, Jupiter, that big planet, right? Like Jupiter is the one that says, okay, this is how it's meant to be, right? It's like the planet of laws, like there's an order to things, right? Think about like the big father, so to speak, right? So
Okay.
Sally, because yours is 37 line 1, so gate is 37. So take a look at everybody's, whatever yours is, your it looks like a number 4 symbol on the right side. It's kind of like beyond midway through your chart. So yours is 37.1 and it's called simplicity. So the way you make money is you actually have to make your business and your life very simple. If you make it very complicated, you can forget about it. You're not going to make money. You're going to bleed money that way. So the more simple your business would be, or whatever you intend to do, not just a business, right? But even your family, right? How things are. If it has to go through different chains of command, you see, it's like, well, who's in charge again, right? Simple is better for you. Okay. For some people, it's a line 2, meaning they have to be recognized. But if you don't recognize yourself, just to let you know, that's a problem. This starts with you, right? So if you don't recognize your own success, nobody else would recognize you. Or sometimes we feel bitter and we go, oh, I did all this and nobody even mentioned my name or thanked me for something. You have to start with you. How do you recognize yourself? If you're a line 3, celebration is important. Well, if you don't celebrate, unfortunately, no one else will celebrate because it's almost like, oh, it's another thing. It's another thing. Kind of like, oh, laundry, check. Okay, folded the clothes, check. Okay, I walk, check. But you're not really giving yourself any kind of joy in doing whatever you're doing, right? Now, some people have a line 4, or a point 4, which means charity. In other words, you do something and then you got to donate a portion of your time, energy, or money, or whatever it is that you're extending as charity. Some people have power or leadership. I have a 0.5. So guess what? If I go opposite power or leadership, like I act like a victim, guess what happens to my money flow? It goes the other way, right? It bleeds. And then some people, nature. That means you got to spend time with nature. So if you look at money, I remember this when I had my negative money mindset, right? You know how you work hard, you earn a living, and then you're like, oh my God, I have more bills to pay. And then what I did to shift that energy is I started walking, right? I started walking outside, and then the exercise I was doing was to count the number of leaves in the trees. And then I would count it. I would stop by a tree. I would count the number of leaves, and then I would stop because I forgot the number. Barbette was laughing. It's true. Where am I? And what side of the tree did I count it from, right? So then I realized that my mind was limiting me because I had this certain perception of that money was limited. I thought, because you know how you earn it and then you spend it and it's gone, and then more people want it, right? It's because I had a negative mindset of money in the past. So the more you actually do nature walk and you just count the number of leaves, just see the abundance, right? Around you every day. And I did an experiment on this. And then I noticed I started saying thank you, right? Checks started coming in the mail, like checks from a long time ago sometimes, or just a little refund, right? Like a $1.45. But I just started becoming grateful for whatever was coming through and coming back to me rather than focusing on the expenses, right? So the focus shifted. So that's really important for those people that are like, they're lost, they don't know what to do. You might want to do some nature walk and some counting of the leaves thing, or counting of the houses, and notice how much abundance we have on this planet, really. And then, of course, that shifted. And then now that's automatic. So once you make it automatic, it's gone, right? Like it's just part of you now. It just keeps on going, right? So this is important that you know your prosperity key, because if you don't even know how to make money, this is all unconscious, right? I mean, you really don't know that you're supposed to do all this. But then if you know your chart, I'm like, do it, right? Do it because you know it. Now, the design Mars on the left side of you, yours is 53.2. So Sally, yours is 0.2 marketing. Marketing, right? That is how you make money. So the design Mars or your desk work should be 80% of what you're doing in your business. So if it's marketing, well, marketing means you have to spread the word, right? You have to tell people about what you're doing. Otherwise, nobody even knows. So you and I have the same line. Production just means that's the person doing, let's say, the PowerPoint, right? The production, all the jobs there, so to speak. So when you're running a business, please don't expect yourself, unless you're a solopreneur, to do all of this. I mean, think about yourself: production, marketing, strategy, sales, management, philanthropy, investment. If you're one person, unless you have Monday production, Tuesday marketing, strategy on Wednesdays, Thursday sales, Friday management, 6 is investment. I mean, really, no one. I mean, you could try. In the beginning, when we're solopreneurs, we kind of wear this hat. It's like, okay, I am the marketer right now. And then I go, oh, somebody needs to selling is like helping people, right? So now I have to do my healing work for others. So then I have to remove this marketing thing because they already bought. And then I got to go wear another hat for sales, right? Because then I have to take the sale, right? To take the money. And then now we start the treatment. Does this make sense? It's a lot of work. Yeah. If you're doing everything on your own, that's why you're failing. It doesn't work like that.
And that's where I'm not satisfied.
That's right. Because you're doing everything. So it's like you do 10% of this, 10% of this, and you're like, I'm tired. I really don't want to do a business. So that's how people think of a business. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So this is unconscious, right? We don't even know. At first, when I was marketing, I'm thinking, no, that's not what I do in my head. And then I say, no, stay in your lane and then let everybody else do the job, right? Delegate, find the right person that's good at the others, and then it'll work. And then the business culture is your design Jupiters. Again, on the left side. So the design Mars, it looks like, the male sign, it's like a circle with the arrow. Mm-hmm. That's design Mars, okay? Your business culture happens to be, Sally, system. You have to build the system for you to make money. If you try to do everything yourself, again, it doesn't work. So perhaps for you, as you're moving through these interviews, you're going to see what's effective, what's not so effective, and then you just take what's good, and then you just create something. It's kind of like, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this, right? Step 3. So then when you delegate that department to someone, these are the things I need from the person I'm interviewing. So you can still interview, except somebody is in charge of sending the email, right? Making sure that we have our bio and we have whatever we need to promote for you before the actual interview. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So other people, individual, meaning they work solo. Partnership, they have to partner with someone. Some people, unit, meaning 3 to 12 people only. So I have that in my chart. Network means 12 and more people, like network marketing stuff, right? So I remember even before I was part of the doTERRA networking business, and I was good the first few years. And then when my team hit 1,000, I was tired. So your energy level drops when it's almost like your body tells you, by the way, you're not supposed to be doing that, right? But you don't know, but now you do know. So once you know, you just kind of stay in your lane and not try to be someone else, because it won't work for you. You're going to get sick, right? Something you think it's the universe hitting your head, but I think it's just a reminder, like everyone has a certain path. And if you're doing something that's not supposed to be yours, Yeah, that's why God, universe, however you call it, right? It's going to give you a little tap on the shoulder and say, are you sure you're supposed to do that? So those are good warning signs for us, right? And society means the masses. You know how some healers, they are for the masses. You've seen this, right? They would promote something and it's like hundreds and thousands of people gathering. They're meant to do that. Certain people are meant to do that, right? And then, like I said, some people like you are meant to create a system. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're running out of time. So I wanted to ask people first, at least to give you that information. I don't want to fire hose everyone because there's so much in this to talk about, literally.
My head is spinning.
I know. This is great.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, it's spinning because it's asking you to think differently. Isn't it? You're like, "Oh, what did I do with my life?" Right? A lot of women, I notice this a lot. A lot of us women, we go, oh my God, I didn't do my life right. You need to release that, Romy. You need to be okay with your journey because sometimes you are in a certain journey for a reason, right? And not everybody, I don't know anybody who has a straight journey. It's kind of like you're born as a baby, you wake up and you're like, I know exactly what to do with my life. We're not all like that. So Romy, if you ask yourself, why is your head spinning? Is it because it's new information?
It was just a lot of it. It was a lot of information that I know I need to go back and listen to this on YouTube again, and then go to your website and.
No, just listen to this first. That's the first thing. So if you look at your design, right? What was your personality, Jupiter? What line were you? Do you know? Or were you able to know?
I was absorbing. I didn't.
Oh, okay. So you did. Who has the information? So then we can demonstrate.
Oh, Barbette did.
Okay, Barbette, you have the information, right? So do you mind sharing what is your personality, Jupiter? So I'm gonna tell people like, what is that personality, Jupiter, right?
I don't know what that means, but based on this chart.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The type is the manifesting generator, but I didn't agree with it.
Okay.
When you said that if it's raining, if let's say Sally wants to go take a walk, and I say I'll go for a walk with her, but then it's raining outside, she will come up with a way to, she's going to take the walk because that's what she wants to do. I'm not going to not take a walk because it's raining.
Right.
That's not my personality. My personality is if I say I'm going to do something, I don't let what's going on outside affect that. I mean, there's a tornado.
You have your word of honor, so to speak. So Okay. Right. Now my question to you
I didn't
is
understand the manifesting generator. It didn't apply to me. I don't get bored easily.
Oh, okay. So did you hold that just one job, or did you change careers over the years?
Oh, I changed careers a lot. No, I changed jobs a lot, but I never changed my career. My career was to be an executive assistant, and Della Street from Perry Mason was my role model. So that was that's what I wanted to do since I was 8, and that's what I did.
So you're certain about that,
right? And that's what I did. So, and I never got bored with the responsibilities of an executive assistant, because Della Street, she was just the epitome of, organized, beautiful, all of that. So, I mean, I did everything from filing to reports, and I enjoyed it. That's what brought me joy. Now, did I get a lot of recognition for it? No. And that was kind of, I understand.
Are you recognition?
Huh?
Is your personality
my satisfaction?
Yes, but is your personality Jupiter line 2? Recognition.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know what that means. My signature is satisfaction. My not self theme is frustration. What does that mean?
So when you become frustrated at something, that means you are not living your design. That's just what it means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strategy is the same as Sally's to respond.
Yeah.
My inner authority is also emotional authority. Is that for all women though? Because it's
No, not at all.
Okay, because
Not at all.
Sally and I think you said you were the same.
Yeah, we just
Okay.
happen to be emotional authority altogether. But okay, so if you look at, I'm gonna pull up Sally's chart again. So
Mhm.
personality is on the right, and if you go to the number 4, what is the number on your right side? Because Sally's is 37.1.
37 point.
No. So you're not gonna look for 37.1. Look
No,
at
I'm
the
not.
right side of your chart, that
Right.
same graph you have,
Mhm.
and you can see the number 4 looking symbol here.
Oh, from the bottom to the
From
top.
the bottom to the top on the right.
14.3.
Okay, so yours is celebration. So every time you accomplish a task, or let's say you felt good, like you said, you like working with specific managers, right? Or
Mhm.
executives.
Mhm.
Did you celebrate, or did they celebrate your win?
I celebrated it.
You did. Okay.
Mhm.
That's what kept you in the job, right? So
Mhm.
tell me, if you look at all the different jobs you've held as executive assistant,
Mhm.
what was the turning point? Why did you actually leave?
They were all different. They were
They're
all
all
different.
different. Was
Yeah, they
there
were all different.
anything similar?
I had one where I relocated to Dallas because an
Okay.
old boss wanted me to come work with him again. Another one, it was I had was working in a high level executive position, but
Mhm.
because I got there in a year and a half instead of 5 years, they demoted me and put me back in another grade, and I quit.
Mm.
So it was, I was
So, but
doing
if
the
you
work.
look at it, your values
Everything
and
was.
theirs didn't quite match.
Oh no, no, no.
Yeah, there's a reason, right? So for you, it's kind of like when you make a decision,
Hmm.
it's like, this is it. You've
Yeah, I
made up
have to
your
be
mind.
happy. I have to
Yeah,
be happy. If I'm not
exactly.
happy, then I leave.
Right. So you had your own standard, you
Mhm.
have your own values, right? But you still kept on moving, right? So a generator, like if I were in your position,
Mhm.
it wouldn't matter when I was younger, like I didn't know any better. So
Mhm.
I would like just bear and just do it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I really don't like this, but okay, it's okay. It's okay. And I'm going to try to convince myself to do other things aside from why am I staying there? Even if this person is this, that's a generator. Okay. They
Okay.
will, because if my goal is a certain thing, I
Mhm.
wouldn't let that person bother me. Even if they're already like really toxic, I would like really learn how to be neutral to that toxicity and kept on going no matter what, as long as I got my goal. Does that make sense?
It
So
does.
an MG, as you notice, once you convince yourself, I'm done with this, you're out.
Yeah.
Generators, we are more patient than that. Too patient to a fault sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, look at Sally. It's
Yeah.
like,
You know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
We're almost out
I
of
put
time,
up
but
with
I
a lot
just
of
wanted
shit.
to ask a question. So, in other words, I just
Yes.
had a question. So, when I read the chart,
Mhm.
okay, I start from the bottom
Mhm.
here, and then I match it to this.
No.
No?
So if you look at this chart, right? On
Right.
the right side is personality Jupiter, right? So that's how we make money individually. So you're going to look at this particular number 4. In Sally's chart here, it says 37.1. So take a look at that. Just circle it for you so you know what it is.
Mhm.
Okay. And then your desk work is on the left side. So go all the way to, it looks like a circle with the arrow. That's Mars. And you circle that and just call it Design Mars, because that's 80% of what you need to be doing in your job, whatever that job or business is. And then the one underneath that, the number 4, is your Design Jupiter. That's the business structure that you need to start for yourself.
Where's that at?
On the left side, Design number 4. For her, it's 55.6. What was yours?
They're the same on the left and the right. So it's your Design Jupiter. It looks like a number 4.
It looks like a number 4 on the left.
4.6. Why are my numbers so much lower than yours?
Oh no, there's no such thing as lower or higher. It's not that, right?
Yeah, no,
So
mine is 4.6.
so the 0.6 is still a system. You still need to create a system to make your life work better when you're working with someone. So if let's say you don't have a business, but you're entering a business, right? Somebody else who has a business, it
Mhm.
would be beneficial that you actually create a system for them in a way, right? So
Mhm.
let's say you're assigned with marketing, you're assigned in marketing. And
Mhm.
so you take a look at how chaotic their process is. And then you're like, what if I can streamline this system for you? Then you get paid for that, right? Because
Mhm.
you're good at designing that system. That's really your own design.
Okay.
It's a system.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then if you keep on going to the left, again, it says personality sun. Personality sun is your life's work or brand. For Sally, it's role model, teacher, vision, education, because it's a 0.6. For everybody, that's the life's work. And then the design, the personality earth, you see the next one after, it says circle with a cross there, 45.6. Hers again, her life lesson is education and surrender. That's her life lesson. Okay. And then if you keep on going, design sun on the left, 6.2 for her. That's what makes us healthy or radiant. For Sally, it's marriage. So if somebody, it says marriage and then they're not married, it could be they're married to their job though, right? They're married to their business. It doesn't have to be like another human you're married to. But then if you look at this, Sally, is this true? Like, do you feel good when you are with someone versus when you're not with anyone? Okay, so that's what keeps her healthy. So that means she has to
35
pay
years, I think
attention.
I'm good.
Yes, that means she has to pay attention to that relationship also, right?
Mhm.
So that it would work, because that makes her healthy. Because if her marriage goes downhill, what do you think happens to her? Her business and everything else and her health goes downhill. Okay. And then her next one is the core genius. That's the design earth. Hers is 36.2. So hers is posture and fluids. So anything that requires movement, that makes sure her posture is good, not just physical posture, but maybe her posture in her business as well, right? She has to make sure that she's doing those types of activities in order for her to really be in a state of she's always stimulating her core genius. Okay, because if you don't balance yourself, so to speak, right? I mean, what if you have all the tools and you just don't do it? Now, remember, this is like your whole life, right? I don't expect everyone watching this to be like, oh God, I got to be doing this and this. No, master one thing at a time, like one column, let's say, and then see what happens, right? So you can master one column, let's say for 30 days. So even for Sally, simplicity. If her life is complicated, well, that means she probably has more than 30 days to work through this, right? So if for you, Barbette, let's say you're not celebrating. Let's say you accomplished something. It could be you just organized a drawer, that's kind of chaotic or messy, right? If you don't celebrate, well, guess what? You're going to mess up that same drawer again, and you're going to just create more mess everywhere in your life. Is this making sense to you guys now? Okay. So me, I'm power or leadership, line 5, right? For my prosperity key. So if I'm acting like a victim in anything, business or relationship, guess what happens? My money flow just goes downhill. That's how important the information is, right? Because if you apply any tool correctly, you'll notice that you just start getting healthier and you start attracting the right people in your life, in business, in money. Like it just flows. Remember the surrender part? You literally surrender and go into flow if you don't work so hard to even just be yourself, right? So if you look at yourself and you're surrounded by family members and then they're all against what you're doing, guess what would happen? That's the resistance, right, to the flow. But if you're okay with, even if they're different and they're opposing every single thing that you're doing because you're changing and transforming, I see this a lot, you guys.
Yeah.
When somebody goes into their spiritual path, everybody's against everything. Okay. I experienced it myself, so I understand. And it's not them, it's you have to stand and confront that energy and say, I know this is right for me, because it feels good to you. Okay. Really, it does. Everybody will say something bad about it. You have to be okay and neutral to what they say. Because once you do that, everything comes, you surrender, so to speak, right? And then everything comes to you with ease, grace, and flow. So that's when that money thing becomes very easy, because money, people think it's just an exchange physically. It's physically, emotionally, relationally, and spiritually. When those things are lined up, money is not even a problem. Like you could be sleeping and then dreaming about something, and then it just happens. It's in your mailbox, right? Or another client is knocking on your door asking you to work with them. Now, obviously, when you don't know how to charge, you don't know how to say the numbers, that's an issue, right? That means there's some work to do within you, and that's okay. But it's not the client's fault. It's always you have to be okay with you, especially if you're a generator, manifesting generator. We do just pull in the energy. We're like magnets. So the more you are certain with who you are, well, of course, the more people just see you like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Quick
I think
question.
that-
Where did we
Yes.
go? Where did we go to generate that? I
Oh,
was
okay.
on design.
HumanDesignAmerica.com
Yep.
or Jovian Archive, Jovian Archive, ARCHIVE.com.
I'm on
So
Human
those are
Design
free.
America.
Yeah, those are free, but unless you want to, I believe they have a report as well that's written. So then you can get that. And you can read your report and understand yourself. And like I said, it's a lot of things about you. so I would read it every day, like until you get it. Because sometimes you go, no, that's not me. But maybe it's not us because we have been conditioned a lot. Remember that. We've been conditioned by a lot of people, right? Parents, society. And until you really like go on your own self-discovery, it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
You won't know who you are. But once you know yourself, it's fascinating. It's kind of like everybody else can say something bad about you, or it's like, I don't agree with you. And that's okay, because you're in a different journey than them, right? You don't need to correct them. You don't need to do anything about it. You just have to smile and know, choose your friends wisely. That's what I say.
That's the question.
Barbette, yes.
It's miracle. I'll just magic. That's my
Magic.
favorite word. It's just magic.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, I was cleaning out all of my emails. I have like maybe a dozen email accounts. Don't laugh. But anyway, I have like a dozen email accounts. And I
Okay.
finally cleaned all of the emails out. And I found one today on a profile, one of those prenatal chart profiles.
Oh, yes.
And it was in February. And so I went online. It's like, okay, I want to go ahead and figure this out, because I decided today that I'm going to do what I said that I'm going to do.
Yep.
All right. And I've been, I did my first WordPress meetup after 3 months. So I'm finally getting back into my WordPress. So I got into a meetup yesterday, like I said, for the first time in 3 months. And then I got in contact with the gentleman who reached out to me in April from SCORE to be a mentor for web design. So
nice.
I got back in contact. I finally replied to him. And then it was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I woke up this morning and I was like so excited. It's like, oh my gosh, you need to calm down. It's like, no, I'm excited. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Because we have a lot of energy, right?
And so it was like, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's like, I've been doing this And like, you know, I'm in a group with Sally, and that is what it's about. It's about manifesting. It's about changing your thoughts, and it's about knowing that you know what you know.
Yep.
Okay. And so to this, I went into the natal chart thing and I said, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and look into this. But this is like the same thing.
Right.
Can you believe that? I mean, it's like, it just
kind of moves through. Yeah. When it's meant to reach you, I think, I always say, remember when you're marketing, right? You don't have to convince anyone because that's too much work. Honestly, I just show up, I do my thing, and the right people will show up, because it's kind of like if I'm on, let's say everybody's on the first floor, second, third, whatever floor, right? In a building, like a tall building.
Right.
And let's say I'm on the 12th floor, and then they look up and go, oh no, that's too high. You already deleted yourself from, you disqualified yourself, because it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's too high. That's too much work. Well, what if you go from 1 to 12? It's kind of like jump into it, right? Just go there. It's up to you. But the decision means to cut everything off, by the way. So decision is when you have too many branches of a tree, and then you're like, I'm going to go from there to there. It's a decision, right? Because you cut off all the excuses and all the limitations, limiting beliefs, whatever you cut off, and just decided, I'm going to do that. That's my end goal. And you just go for it.
Yeah.
That's a decision, actually. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't know how to make a decision. And guess where their problem is? Their ankle. The ankle is the body part that when you have a problem with decision making, right side is male, left side's female. So take a look. If you've had any ankle sprains, ankle problems, ankle decision, you guys are laughing. The body parts, maybe Sally, you have to interview me again for the body parts, but there's different body parts.
I'll have you back.
Gosh, I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yes.
Wow.
So remember, I'm a medical intuitive. And then after a while, I'm like, why are these people so sick? And I look at it and I go, oh God, that's the problem. So there's certain parts of your body that expresses all these different, emotional stuff, mental stuff, physical and spiritual things that are conflicts for you, within you. That's why people get sick. And look, the healthcare system, lots of money, right? And I'm like, are they treating? Not really. They don't want you to know what's really the root cause of your problem, so that they keep on charging you. But if you could just get to the heart of it, and then yeah, that's kind of my pattern. I better stop doing that. And then when you do, then that problem goes away, right? So some people go, headaches go away, cancer goes away. Why? Because cancer is sometimes a self-sabotage, because they can't recognize who they are. So they have to be like everybody else, when they need to just be them and be okay with all the negative comments that go around, because that's not them. It's kind of like you, right? Like you said, it's you like a job, and so you'll go for it. Doesn't matter who it is. But then, well, what if the other person, let's say your husband or your children, say, oh, mom, don't go there, don't do that. But then you're like, no, I like this. No.
Yeah.
So you're still going to go, right? You got to follow you, not everybody.
Yeah.
Because that won't work very well, by the way. Because if somebody says, turn your head upside down, stand on your one hand, stand on your left ear, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm like a twisted pretzel. But if you don't know what you're really meant to be, most people, especially us women, we kind of go different, multiple ways just to please everybody, except ourselves. We forget.
Yeah. You know what's interesting though is I will, I know a lot of times we'll say we're going to do something and our heart is in it and we're all motivated and we're doing everything. And someone will make a comment and it's almost as though it becomes like a, it's almost like, I think they call them energy vampires.
Oh yeah.
But it's almost like it sucks the energy
out of you.
And it's like it's taking longer, it's just taking so much energy for you to reacquaint yourself with your passion and what it is that you say that you're going to do. I mean, you're on your path, but you're just sitting there. You know it's the path you're supposed to be on, but you just kind of like just sit there hoping that you can get the energy back. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not off on this, but you're
That's
still on
a
the path
energetic
because
boundary violation. That's a whole new topic. So energetic
that's deep.
boundaries. Yeah, there are like 7 syndromes of that. So Sally, you're gonna have to go to my I have a YouTube channel. It's called Vivian
Okay.
Money Magnet.
Okay.
And you guys can go through all of the videos that I've had there because every single, so I have 2 TV shows, right? Sally, is it okay? I'm sharing with
Yeah,
them.
sure.
So Tuesdays, I have what we call my spiritual GPS. You know, the GPS.
Mhm.
I call it God positioning system. It's like your navigation system in life. So I feature a lot of sometimes it's me, sometimes it's another interview for another healer or somebody that wants to know a little bit about spiritual path.
Mhm.
And then Wednesdays, so those are 12 p.m. Pacific time. And on Wednesdays, I have my spiritual money RX. So for those that are wanting to be business owners and they want to know more about like money flow, so I combine the business side to the spiritual side, right? Because it's not disconnected. Because if you're disconnected with that, then you make money and then you forget everything else, which is not quite lined up, right? So we want an aligned way of making money. So every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Pacific, my spiritual GPS, and on Wednesdays, my spiritual money RX, like money prescription.
Mhm.
And then you learn a little bit more about money, I guess, that is aligned with your soul. Yeah, so those are some of it. And if you'd like a free guide, there is it's called viviandeguzman.com/free grounding video, because the grounding video allows you to set your day in the morning, you know, like connect to earth and God, and then put a bubble, right? That energetic boundary you're talking about, Barbette. Like, if you know who you are from the beginning of your day, because I always think of a day as a lifetime. Because if we don't wake up the next day, at least we're done, right? We finished something. I think a lot of us, we have so many projects open and we don't close it. And that's why we don't feel satisfied, right? So when you begin your day and you have one goal or maybe 2, 3 goals, if you finish the goal, doesn't it feel good? But if you didn't, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. But then you violated your own promise to yourself. If you say you're going to clean your refrigerator that day and you didn't, how does that feel? Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. But you keep on doing that. So see, what's happening is you're violating your own promise to yourself with a simple task, with a simple thing. So when you can actually be honest with yourself, right? And say, am I really going to clean my refrigerator, or should I schedule that another day? Maybe that day you just needed to walk because you need to feel better. So if you keep on violating yourself, guess what? Other people will violate you all the time. And then you're upset, right? But because you're doing it all the time to yourself. So until you become honest completely with you, it just bleeds into other relationships that you may have.
I love that.
I mean, think about it. Does that
Yeah.
really work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I noticed that with myself in the past, because I was so, as a woman, right? Like, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do. And then I forgot me,
Yeah.
the me that's supposed to have the energy. So
Right.
when I forgot me, well, people forgot me too. So then you're like, when you're tired and you wanted them to love you back, guess what? They don't have time for that at that moment.
Right.
And you become more demanding, you become more wanting it, right? And it's not reciprocal for you, according to you, but you forgot you to begin with, because you were thinking that's an expression of their love. Well, how about your love for you? You have to start somewhere, which is you, because you can't control people. You can control yourself, but not others, right? Start with yourself, and then everything flows from there.
Love that.
Yeah.
Great way to end it. Thank you so much, Vivian, for coming today. I
Thank you.
really enjoyed it. I think everyone else did.
Yeah, thank you.
Really
Thank
great.
you. All right. Well, bye for now.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Wow.